This playthrough is rated T for teen.
Why am I still playing this? Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare here with, well, let's finish this, or let's end this. This time it's Persona 3 Dancing in the Moonlight. For those who watched the first impressions video, you pretty much got the gist of this whole game from watching that. But for those who haven't, this is a dancing game based on the Persona franchise, mainly the third one. They did 4 and 5 as well. The main story about this one is that Elizabeth, the owner of the Blue Room, which I'll show you here in a second, basically just said, hey, we need to have a dance competition because I need to show off my younger sister who said her team was better than hers. So basically it's a sibling rivalry type of situation where the main characters got wrapped up into it, and she made promises and falsified information about what's going to happen to us if we lose this competition. The game assumes that, like, while playing this, that you are going to be the winners of the competition because you're actively playing this one. And obviously, you play the fourth or fifth game version of it, then they win, that type of thing. But, yeah, the weird thing about this game is that if you're not a fan of the Persona franchise or have no idea what this is, like, then you probably won't buy this, or you'll be confused about a lot of it, because there's a lot of other than the songs being references to the games, a lot of the social stuff that you learn about the game is basically it's a bunch of references to either the Persona world as a whole, the game that they're from, or references to the other characters from the other games. She mainly references the Persona 5 in this game, oddly enough. Yeah, Persona 4, I think, I'm trying to remember during any of the conversations, I don't even think they really mention. The only mention of Persona 4 is Elizabeth's older sister, Margaret. And obviously she never actually says their name. She just says, I have an older sister. And for those who watched the first impression video, I was wondering if they ever mentioned Theodore, which was from the PSP version. She actually does mention him. So apparently in any of the spin-off games, Theodore is mentioned and shown. It's just if it's a main storyline game, he's assumed to not be an official, like, member of the family, which is odd because I don't think he was mentioned in like 4 or 5 anywhere, which it didn't need to be. They were their own separate stories. But overall, I guess for this game, most of the songs are like hip hop based. I forgot the name of the group that did a lot of the songs to it. I think if you check the dancing, I think it mentions some of the people who did some of the music for some of the games. I know they're obviously Japanese groups and stuff like that. I mean, Los Juice is one of them. I don't know if they're the main writers or one of the main singers and stuff like that. But I don't know much about which is weird, how the songs are used in Persona. You'd think I'd be more aware of, like, the musicians and everything based around it. But no, I just like the games overall. Too bad these games almost never mention Persona 1 or 2. They're kind of like the odd games out. Although I've heard in a couple of the games they do make references to them, but for the most part, 1 and 2 aren't even considered part of this universe, which makes sense if you play Persona 2, I think it was. That kind of does a story thing where it kind of changes things, so that kind of makes sense, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of too bad they'll never go back to that style. This current Persona games as they are, the main storyline are so popular that they could never go back to Persona 1 and 2 style of gameplay. So that's kind of why, although 1 and 2 are kind of harder to play if you're not into RPGs in general, because they're more based off old school RPGs than most modern ones. So, you know, they got all the tropes and difficulties therein. So anyway, we're not here to talk about the Persona franchise in general. We'll talk about this game. And there is technically an end to it. That's why I'm showing this. But yeah, one of the big things about this game is, other than the music and the remixes, you can also, obviously each of the characters have their own there, but you can also customize them as well. So I think I've locked most of the outfits. Yeah, they have their gear from the game, so then they have gear that's either from sponsorships or references, you know, like they see all their winter gear. The ball stage is unique for this game specifically, what they would look like on stage, which I'm not made of fashion, but a lot of it looks kind of dumb to me, but what do I know, right? I don't get into fashion. Yeah, gym clothes or shorts, and, you know, basic outfit. And then here's where the goofy stuff comes in, which I've never seen the pumpkin clown. It must have been just something they made up for the game, because I don't remember seeing it in any of the games. So Santa, yeah, there's always a Christmas theme in some of these games. Butler, I think it was the 5th game or one of the spin-off, or maybe it was Persona 4 Golden where they started adding Butler outfits that you can unlock for some reason. I don't know why. Oh yeah, there's Theodore's outfit from Persona 3 PSP. That's his outfit that the boys can wear. The girls wear Elizabeth's outfit. Yeah, there's the promotional thing. Feather Eagle's the fictional Sentai show in the Persona universe. What was that? Oh yeah, it could also put on different helmets, and then different headphones, or yeah, monkey and stuff. This is a bunch of silly stuff. I mean, they are dancing, so they are looking silly. Yeah, whiskers and mustaches, noses, glasses, and everything like that. Yeah, just different styles of everything. Gag nose, yep. I've seen that in a couple of the games. I forgot what the first place. I think it first appears in Persona 4, I believe. Long nose, that basically makes you look like Igor, who's been there since Persona 1, oddly enough. But yeah, in later games, he's there, but they more focus on his attendance. Yeah, the Persona 1 and 2, he's the main focus, as being the guy who helps the main characters get their powers and everything like that. But yeah, after 2, they started making it about the attendants instead of the Igor himself. So, oh yeah, let's see, lobsters, masks, and stuff like that, which are references to just the different tarot cards and stuff like that. No, Tanaka, he's a salesman from the games. He does online shipping, sales and stuff like that, which I think he's actually a story-based character, or he's one of the social paths you can encounter in the 3rd game. But in the 4th and 5th game, he's just, his company sells stuff to the players. Some of the stuff I don't tell Wrapped Head. Some of the stuff is creepy, as you can tell. Oh yeah, there's a reference for Mystic Journey. I think it was called Mystical Journey, or I have the game, I just don't. I think it was called Mysterious Journey. Was it Shin Megami Oh, Strange Journey. That's it. I was just looking at my games. I still have yet to beat that one. That one's a weird one. I liked the bit I played of it, but if I don't focus hardcore in a game, I can eventually lose track of it. So I need to start this game over and play it again. Yeah, fairy wings. You can have emote symbols pop up. The picaresque or whatever, those are, if you can download those for free. Those are basically just references to Persona 5 characters. And then these other two I'll get when I show Elizabeth's thing, which is going to be the final. That's why I'm showing it, because basically doing her final social link and the song that unlocks when you do that shows the credits, so that's why I'm showing it. You can also change your contacts, but you can almost barely see it, especially on the main character, because of his emo haircut. Then you can change the color of their hair. That makes them look like characters from the other games. This one makes them look like, character from Persona 5 and stuff like that. Although, it's weird they don't have a white wig to represent Yu, I think his name is the main character's from Persona 4. I think that's his canon name, is Yu. YU, yeah, I don't have a white wig for him. Oh yeah, and you can register the characters, and each of the characters has their own outfits and everything like that. So yeah, silly game. It's not bad, and I finally got used to the rhythm mechanics of the game. After you kind of get into a mindset, it kind of gets a little bit easier. But the game does a pretty good job of making it to where they have, well, I'll show you when I actually play a song, but we'll talk about that when we get that. Let's do the final social link. And really all their social links, they just talk about wanting to dance and how to improve their style and what it means to be here, and the fact that they'll lose their memories, and they hope that maybe it'll be somewhere subconscious that they'll grow because of it, or Akihiko thinks that maybe if he gives a muscle memory, his body will remember the events and he'll get stronger because of that. So, and it just references the 3rd game and where they're at. I think this, if I have to think about where this takes place, I'd say this takes place about 3/4 through Persona 3, the way that they're telling the story, because the fact that certain characters aren't here and they reference certain events, certain conversations. So I'd have to say about 3/4 of the game is past. by the time that they take place in. Although it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is a dancing game for God's sake. So anyway, let's do Elizabeth's final social link and see what happens. The most important announcement. Elizabeth requested that you come here.
Yo, what's up? Everyone's here.
I wonder what the important announcement from our producer could be.
Has the competition finally concluded? Perhaps the winner is going to be declared.
Oh, I forgot about that. To be honest, I was completely focused on dancing.
I feel like I've danced enough to last me a lifetime. It was a lot of fun, though.
Regardless, there's no mistaking that the end of the ball has arrived.
It's rather sad if that is the case.
Guess this is superstar Junpei Iori's lamented and teary-eyed retirement interview, huh?
No one would lament that. And you're not a superstar. You're just a guy who fishes for compliments.
Hey!
This again.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? I deeply apologize for the lengthy wait. I, Elizabeth, better known as LP, have valiantly taken the stage.
Yeah, you go, LP!
This reminds me of a wrestling match.
More importantly, did you really need to turn off the lights? I hear varying opinions from the audience, but I will press on without wasting my breath. Now, for what you've all been waiting for, the important announcement from LP! But before that, as my guest and representative of the others, I would like to hear your thoughts on the ball.
And like typical, for those who aren't aware, it's kind of weird that they give you these choices because they don't affect anything. I mean, sometimes you get humorous responses, which I prefer. If you're going to have choice in the game, let me get something that's either serious or humorous just for fun. But yeah, like just like in the game, even though the main character can talk in this game, because if you play some of the songs, he talks. Like he's like, oh, it's great working with you. Dance, let's keep dancing and all this other stuff. I'm like, it's kind of weird to hear the main character have a voice in this game because they're usually mute. But the reason they have voices is because they made anime adaptations of the games, and so they had to give a voice. You couldn't have the whole movie. I think they were movies. You couldn't have an old anime movie with one of the characters not talking. I mean, you could, but they'd have to do sign language or something like that. But that's not the point. They're supposed to be player inserts for the most part. Anyway, it's fun. I'm tired. I have nothing to say about that.
You have no words to express how you feel, is how I shall take your answer. And if you are speechless, then you must bop till you drop. I await your dance of joy. She's so positive. Well then, if you don't mind, I also wish to say a few words. Even though you were suddenly brought here, with your help, the stage was constantly thriving. I have indeed witnessed the miraculous passion that surges from a strong heart. The ball was a great success. I, LP, humbly thank you once again.
We had fun too. It's like I feel all fired up and I can take on anything now.
Yeah, it was a nice breather.
I'm sure it was. Their own living delusions. We're not going to remember any of this. This doesn't matter. Anyway. So what about the competition?
If I may put it bluntly, it no longer matters who won or lost. What?
Huh?
The excitement of the crowd and your smiling faces. After reflecting, I realized that I was being prideful and I am now searing with shame. You're on fire? How terrible. I think she means burning with shame, probably.
There's no need to feel ashamed. Everyone acts stubborn from time to time.
Thank you. But then again, we definitely didn't lose. I will never concede on that.
I guess you can't let it go.
I've come to a realization after watching you. There's no point in comparing our guests. Those with the will to stand up to their destiny are all equally wonderful.
I feel like she's trying to avoid the issue, but at least she seems to be praising us.
Also, if I might add one more thing, your dancing gives power to all who witness it. That must be because you put your whole heart into it.
True. We did our very best to dance with sincerity. I'm glad that was conveyed.
Now then, enough with the long prologue. Let's move on to the main subject. I, LP, humbly wish to make an important announcement.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. Are you gonna announce an awesome prize?
That is correct.
Wait, really?
In honor of my reputation as a talented producer, I have prepared a token of my gratitude for you. I believe this is known as reward time.
Hell yeah! I'm so glad I did my best.
Well, this better be worth it. Otherwise, your whole, no matter who won or lost, makes this whole point completely worthless. We shouldn't have even bought the game. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, exactly. Is it glorious? Is it something scandalous? I'm worried about this. Yeah, I'm worried about this.
Right? I have a bad feeling about this.
I'm convinced that it is much more magnificent than that. LP's big surprise, the fabulous reward is Dancer Elizabeth's long-awaited debut on the stage.
What?
Huh?
When you say debut, does that mean...
Indeed, I myself will dance with all my heart. Though I am not worthy, I want you to feel the passion surging from my fervent dance.
So that's our reward? That is perfectly fine by me. Let's see her in action.
What?
While I watched you all, images overflowed and flooded my mind. Your dancing seems to have awakened my inner passion as well. It just wouldn't do if I didn't display it, as it is also one of my duties as a producer.
Can I get a refund on this reward? Don't go crazy, okay?
Please be at ease. For now, it will just be a normal dance. I am ready, so please call for me whenever you'd like. It's party time! Come on, let's dance! Woohoo!
LP is fired up.
It appears that the ball will go on for a while longer.
Well, that's fine by me. It's fun after all.
Looks like I missed my chance to retire. The legend of my stardom continues.
It never actually began. You want to stick around a little while longer? We're counting on you, LP, and I'm excited to see you dance.
I am resolved to give it everything I have so that I may live up to your expectations. Now, I request you to start this party time, which in turn marks the finale of the ball. Simply bust out, witness LP's celebratory performance, or the party never stops.
Maybe something like, let's do this, or yeah, would do the trick.
Sure, let's go with that. Okay, go for it.
No joke. I hate when some of these don't have a joke response. Like some of the times when he talks to people during the social links, he'll have a "I don't care" or "I wasn't listening," and those are more funny because, well, except for some characters who just assume that you're not being such a dick. They're like, "Oh, you must be joking," and you're like, "Yeah. It's party time for all the loot." Don't stop till we drop. It's party time. Yeah.
Yes!
Okay.
And thus there's the credits of the game. Yay! Although we didn't do the final song, I guess we have to do this to unlock it. I might play that song before I call it, even though they'll hit me with a thing. But I guess I should talk about the game really quick. The game's fine for a rhythm game. I don't know if I call it the greatest out of the rhythm games out there, because you've got your dances and all this other stuff. But I think it does enough with the mechanics, which I'll show you here in a second, that I think it makes the game interesting enough to play. I don't know why. That's something silly about her sticking out her tongue like that. But yeah, I think the mechanics work. The way you're supposed to press the buttons and I think what's interesting about this game, and I haven't played too many rhythm games, so I'm not sure about all the details. But this game has an interesting feature where it comes to making the songs either harder or easier depending on what mode you're playing, as well as what support or conflict, or was it conflict? Something like that, or competition tabs or whatever. You can add certain features to song to either increase the difficulty or make it easier. So for those who aren't very like rhythm game savvy, but want to kind of like hear everything in the game that it has to offer without playing like super hard song modes, it gives you a way to reduce the difficulty of that or play it. So that's pretty nice. So I mean, other than playing on easy mode, which you can unlock most of the features from that anyway, but there are things you have to do on, like, if you want to like trophy hunt this, you have to play some of the songs on the hard difficulties to make it easier. But as long as you've unlocked all the support abilities and everything, it makes it easier. But for the most part, I'm not too big of a fan of like a lot of the designs the characters do in their dance uniforms. But then again, like I said, I'm not a fashion person, so I don't know how dancing attire would work. But most of it is pretty silly. I don't know, maybe at the time it's fashion for Japan at the time of making this game. Maybe they looked at the kids and they're like, this is what the kids are dressing when they're dancing on the streets. Although it might be based off the music too, because Persona 3's music is mainly, for the most part, they do have some classic tunes in it, or classical style, like, you know, instrumentals. But for the most part, the music in Persona is very hip-hop-ish. For the most part, hip-hop. I don't know if I'd say rap is in there at all. There is some rap, but I would say more hip-hop more than anything. So if you're a fan of that type of music, I think you'll like it. Hip-hop with mix of some J-pop type of songs. Definitely not my favorite of the soundtracks, but there are quite a few classics in here that you have to respect for what they are. I'd have to say probably 4 is still my favorite when it comes to like the overall soundtrack and how the songs work. I'm not sure about how 5 fits in there, if that's second or third out of the... I think the first and second games has some pretty decent music, but they never... I'd almost like to see them, the Persona games, like do something about like maybe remaking 1 and 2, or doing something with those characters and trying to bring them into this universe just to kind of complete it, because there's still Persona 1 and 2, you know, because they still call the rest of them 3, 4, and 5. So I'd like to see them try to find a way to bring them back, like either like remake the games and do something similar to Persona that it is now, and see if people would get into it, or maybe make them make more references to them in later games. Though I doubt they ever will, because it's not... 1 and 2 are almost never remembered. I think the last thing they did with it was they re-released Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, or was it Innocent Sin? I think it was Eternal Punishment on the PSP, and they never released the second game for that. Like, the Persona 2 was split into 2 games, and they never released the other one in America. I don't know if they did in Japan, but which is weird. I've got both games. I've got a oh, that's the thing for unlocking Elizabeth's last thing. It's funny how I've got the PSP game, which is the first story, and then I've actually got the original PlayStation game, which is the second story. Unfortunately, I couldn't like transfer data from the 2 or anything like that, but I could still play the story if I really wanted to do like a in-depth dive into both games. But anyway, we unlock Aria Soul, which is probably one of my favorite tracks in the, not the remix, but just the general song itself. It's that chorus that goes on in the background when Elizabeth's story was going on, is the you know, obviously I'm not the best person to up, and here we got all the, yeah, we finished the game, and then Elizabeth going to stage unlocks the trophy as well, and then doing her thing we'll unlock the rest of the accessories, so we can get the trophies for that. I think the only trophies I'm missing are character interactions, where I have to have certain characters interact in like 40 different songs or something like that. But let me show off a song before we call it. Oh, and I can show off the actually, let me show off the collection really quick. Those last 2 things that we unlocked from her. I think the references to the... Oh, we can watch the credits if we want. Let's see, what was it under? Was that here? Which one was it? Oh, it was under outfits, that's right. No, it was, I thought it was, maybe it was under headpieces. I thought it was here somewhere. Because didn't Shay unlock, oh, here we go, the prison guard. That's reference to the attendants in the 5th game. I still can't, I forgot to look up their names in between recording sessions to ask for their names. I remember Margaret and Elizabeth, but for whatever reason I forget those two, even though I played 5 not too long ago, like less than like half a year ago or something like that, which I still need to play Persona 5 Royal, which added, which obviously changed the game, added some new events and a new character and stuff like that, and I'll get to that eventually. Just have to set up my time and all this other fun stuff, but anyway, let's do the final song that unlocks. Let's see. I'll just do like easy version. Wherever. There it is, Aria Soul. Oh, but Elizabeth is... Oh, I guess we play as Elizabeth during it, so... Can she be customized? Oh, I guess you can... Well, you can make her either hatless or not. Even though Elizabeth is my favorite attendant, there's something about her like personality, because she is the most eccentric out of the attendants. Like, Elizabeth is more like, she does her job, she's like, you know, very regal and does her job, and then the sisters from the 5th game are pretty aggressive, like tsundere types, like that just punish the main character in that game. In this game, she's just like, oh, I want to, I'm weird and awesome, and eccentric, and I want to see the world and all this other stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, well, you know, just something likable about that. I wonder what it looks like when she has all those headphones on her head and everything like that. Oh, yeah. I usually just put stuff on random just to change it up a bit. Have her dress up as her boss, Igor. I'm surprised it didn't have him make an appearance in this film. I guess the idea is because the concept of a dance game is so goofy that they didn't want to put him. Oh, I like that type of visor, something you'd see from like a heavy metal or something like that, the cartoon or whatever. Yeah, there's Igor's face right there. I think just the concept of Igor's, when he's in there, the story is supposed to be so serious. So that's probably why they never put Igor in the spin-off games, because the spin-off games are usually a lot more comical than the Persona games themselves. Although Persona games are humorous at times, but overall the plot is supposed to be semi-serious. So that's probably why they don't put Igor in the spin-off games at all, because he's too serious of a character. Also, I think his voice actor, his Japanese voice actor died like a long time ago. And in Japan, for the longest time, if a character's voice actor died, they'd usually retire the character or have him have very little appearances where he didn't talk as much, out of respect to the character. So instead of recasting him, they would just have the character either disappear from the story, or they would just give him less screen time. I don't think that's the same as today. I think it's different today. But that's what it was for a long time, it seemed like, you know. And then, yeah, most stories you'll have either partners. You can set them if you want them or randomly get them. So it looks like it'll be, I guess, will be joining us for this one. And probably someone else will randomize. Oh, here's the custom feature as well. Well, there's a few things. There's game mode where if you just want to, like, watch. Because in the background, obviously, if you're playing, you're not going to be able to, like, see the person dancing because you're going to be focused on pressing buttons and everything like that. So this gives you a way to like just watch what they're doing as if it's played perfectly for the most part. Yeah, you can watch your replay if you want. Choreograph, just watch her dancing moves. And you can watch perfect play just to watch how a person playing on perfect, like with no mess ups would play. Config allows you just to customize like sound, voices. You can turn off the voices, because sometimes they get annoying, so I can see why you'd want to turn off the voices after playing it multiple times, whether it be in the song or in the social links, if you're not a fan of. I'm fine with the English dub. I thought the English dub did a pretty good job for the most part. I didn't think there was really a voice out there that like screamed like this was terrible. Although it was around the time when dubbing got a lot better in games, because I think it was 2012. Or it might have been older than that. Wait, no, PS2 era, so that was a long time ago. I think Persona 3 was quite a long time ago. It was like 6 or 7. It might have been older than that. I just remember it so long ago. Which is interesting that, like, they've done all these spin-off games with the Persona 3 characters, but they have yet to re-release the portable version or the original version. They've released like Persona 4 and 5 in different versions. Like 4 got a re-release on like a computer. You can play it on a computer if you want now, if I recall. But 3 is yet to get that re-release. Same with like Persona 1 and 2, which is kind of odd because a lot of people like this game, despite it being one of the more dour of the stories overall. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is one of the more depressing out of the games, mainly for character thing. But anyway, here's the what I'm talking about, the custom feature of the game, which allows, all it does is, depending on what you choose, yeah, there's support options, which like dance gauge continues to go even if you fail. So if you do really, really bad, the dance will continue, and you might be able to get enough points to finish the song. You do have to hit so many notes, or I don't know if it's score. I think it's based on so many notes. You do have to hit a minimum to see it as complete, but if you miss too many, it'll say you have to redo it. But this gives you a chance to like fix if you mess two things up. Gauge penalties are reduce the hyper gauge, which allows to unlock fever mode, which fever mode is supposed to get you more points, as well as reduce if you miss during fever mode, you don't take as much negative stuff like that. Auto fever, you'll always go into fever mode no matter what happens, which is nice. The ones I like using are good ratings, which I don't really need the combo thing really for the finale, so I can probably turn that off, but it doesn't really matter. But this is for points, how much score you get. And really, in this game, score doesn't really matter. There's a couple trophies that deal with like getting your score better than a previous score, but that's like easy to do. It's really just for comparative sakes online, I guess, or to help you with unlocking other support or challenge modes or some of that. Scratch, there's a line that pops up that you're supposed to use like your analog sticks or left and right trigger to activate during the song, kind of like scratching a DJ, like a remix type of tray or whatever. I forgot what it's called. That just does it automatically without you messing it. That's really nice. And hitting all the notes with any buttons, so you can just press like X or something like that during the whole game instead of having to press all the different button combinations. And the gauge filling automatically, so it can hit fever mode without you having to, if you mess too much, it'll still go up anyway. And then all the challenge modes, these are crazy. Like some flip like the like what the song would normally do. Some go like really, really fast, super slow. You'd be surprised how annoying super slow is, because you still have to hit all the notes in the song, but going super slow means that they'll go so slow you'll stack up all the songs, so like a lot of notes will be like, you'll have to hit them like back to back to back to back. It'll be super slow, but it'll be like, you'll have to hit like up, down, left, right, left, up, 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 you know, like right next to each other, depending on how many notes or how long the song is. Speed fluctuates, that can be fun. Like it can either go super slow or super fast for a few rounds before it swaps back out. Paths waver, that means it'll wibble wobble till it hits to the part. Fade out means it'll disappear right before you can hit it, so you have to guess where, like, when to hit it. Fade in, it'll all of a sudden pop up halfway through, and you're like, random note paths, yeah, it'll just randomize the fade in out or whatever. Notes are invisible, so if you're really good at memorizing the beats in the game, this is probably easier on maybe like a mode where, you know, you can the notes are, the button presses are based off the beats of the song, probably like hard or nightmare mode, but still difficult because you can't see any of the notes. No immunity during scratch, so you wouldn't get immunity to your misses. Enable miss for scratches, so if you miss a scratch in the song, normally it doesn't break combo, but this would break, if you activate it, would break combo if you didn't hit it. Gauge boost is smaller chance for the gauge to boost up for fever mode. Game over, that's pretty obvious. If the combo breaks, the song ends abruptly. Speed change, it changes how fast the notes are, which is what this section is. You can either make them go by a lot faster or slower without like the ridiculousness that is the challenge. Hyper gauge, you can make it either turn off or on and stuff like that. Same with difficulty, how much it boosts up, depending on what mode. You might like play a super hard mode and maybe set it to easy so you can try to survive the song or stuff like that. But anyway, I just wanted to show that off. So, all right, let's play the song of the game. Oh, we got an interesting combination here. All right. Oh wow, one of them like ended up getting the same outfit as Margaret. Huh.
My excitement is through the roof.
What an extraordinary trump card.
Yeah, see, like, it asked me to press the triangle button here, but I'm just, or, like, the circle button, but I'm still pressing the, as you can see on the map, it'll glow what button I'm actually pressing. But yeah, if you have that support on, you can just press one button instead. So, yeah, I know it makes it boring, but for those of us who aren't, like, super rhythm game gods, like some people are, it's definitely helpful. Yeah, there's Fever Mode. That's when another character pops in to help with the song for a bit. Really just to show what they can do and everything like that. The remixes for the songs are not bad for the most part. There are a few songs where they have like a part of the remix I'm like, that doesn't sound very good. But I'm for the most part I'm a purist when it comes to like certain songs. Very rarely do I like a remix version of a song. There are some out there, but for the most part I usually like the original, especially when it comes to video game soundtracks. Most of the time like a remixer will put like weird beats or vocals to it and I'll be like, oh, this sounds like crap, you know. I know that's a personal opinion, but still it's just like, ugh. But yeah, I would say I'm a purist at heart, so yeah, being one of my, I don't hate this remix, I'm just like, but I usually don't go to like, I usually don't buy remixes of like soundtracks and stuff like that. I'll usually buy the original. The only time I'll buy like a different version of the soundtrack is if it's like a classical version of the game soundtrack or something that involves instrumental, because I'm more of a fan of classical music, instrumental type of stuff. So like I'm trying to think what one of my favorite game soundtracks I found. I think I found it like a bench stalker, like a used place was well, there's a couple that I found, but one of them was like I think it was Celtic versions of Final Fantasy IV. I really like that soundtrack. I must have although I am like 10% Scottish or Irish, also Scottish as well. Although my family is mainly, I'm surprised I got so many goods on that. I thought I did pretty good, but
That was really loud.
what was I saying? But I've got a bit of Scottish, mainly mutt. Although most of my family is European flavors for the most part. There's Margaret. Oh, maybe that. Oh no, that's I guess that's supposed to be. I think that's supposed to be Mitsuru, but like the random. Yeah. Oh, it's a mask she's wearing. Okay. I was about to say that like perfectly set her to look like Margaret, but it's because she's wearing the mask and the dress that you can get.
You seem to be enjoying yourself.
You could tell because well, actually, for a second it didn't look like it looked like the mouse moved there. For a second, I was like, oh, maybe it is a mask.
Passion. These vibes are sending me through the roof. It's heating up.
That was okay. Anyway, we've got a brilliant.
Piece of cake for someone like
There's another thing you can get called like King Crazy. That's if you. Oh, sorry, I didn't know she was talking. That you can get King Crazy if you if you do all these like supports, it drops your initial score. And really, the score is really just for bragging rights for like if you play online or competitively or something like that. And you can play Aegis, which unlocks that trophy. There's actually one more trophy I'm missing. I could show it on stage. Oh, Moonlight Serendipity. I thought that was the final song of the game. King Crazy is if you hit perfects and greats and and if you have 0 goods and 0 misses, you'll get King Crazy. But unfortunately, very rarely do I not get brilliant because I'll mess up like one random song or something like that. And then I could do. Let me do. Well, since I'll show it off on screen. Let's do Aria Soul again. This is how you get the final trophy, which is you need to show Minato or the Persona 3 main character needs to have unlock all his appearances, and this is the final song to unlock his appearance. So we'll go and do this. Yeah, I know I'm repeating the song twice, but showing off Minato's dance. Yeah, you can replay.
Let's see what you've got.
You can replay certain songs. Oh, and this is normal mode, so it's going to show you like what the difference between the button presses are. You can already tell it's slightly different. Good thing I have all those like support things on. Wow, you can already tell that there's a lot more buttons to. Yeah, see, I already got a good on that. Luckily, it's going in order. Like, well, everything on easy and normal mode will go in like a clockwise pattern.
Nice.
So you can kind of know how the shape or how the pattern is going to go, so it's easy to follow with the eyes. But on hard and I think it's all night mode. I think it's what's like extreme difficulties called or whatever. Then the notes actually start going in different angles and different directions and stuff like that. And that makes it a little bit harder to figure out. So that's why you should be aware of your settings. It's just kind of sometimes this has so much stuff on screen. It's kind of hard for your eye to like focus on where it's supposed to be without looking at like all the flashy colors. Like look at all the scratches and stuff like that. Which obviously, if you're playing a normal version of the game, scratches can be missed. So like when I was first playing the game, I'd on the faster songs, I'd actually skip scratching until I locked that ability to auto hit scratches, because it would distract me so much from despite choosing the button that would make it easier to scratch, because the original game wants you to hit the analog sticks to do that. I'm like, what? Why would you hit those? You're just making it hard. So, but luckily the game had an option where you could switch it to your left or right buttons, or L1 or R1. That made it a lot easier. Because those would be a little bit easier to. Because of the way I grip my controller, and which most people do anyway, your fingers are probably going to be on those buttons, if not in the general area. So it's quicker to hit those than to flick the analog stick. Or at least I think so. Anyway. Oops. Yeah, see, I got distracted there for a second, so I messed up. So oh well. It's because I lost track of where my eye was setting or whatever. That'll happen every once in a while.
Let's work together.
It's kind of weird how the randomizer has been choosing all the Velvet Room attire for the most part. Even though there's like all these different outfits and everything, but it's a randomizer, so. Oops. Yeah, I messed up again. Oops.
Impressive combo. I felt an extraordinary.
I'm not really. I'm just trying to finish the song. Really, not trying to like.
I have indeed taken your feelings to heart.
You got this. Woo!
Yeah, I'm not really trying to like get the best score or anything like that, but. Blair. Does that say Glare? I think it says Blair. Yeah, I even missed this time. Well, on the easy version, I didn't do that, so. Yeah, custom score. Oh, Makoto has been unlocked. Yep, can't say I don't care now. Yeah, I think that was a lot of his lines of dialogue in the original game was I don't care. Because he's supposed to be kind of this like emo kid type of thing who ends up, saving the world. Spoilers for an RPG, you're going to save the world. Alright, I guess we'll go with the final song of the game. Anything under this is DLC songs, which I can skip, so. I mean, we're already going to be... oh yeah, this is one of those songs where it doesn't have any dancers. It just shows like I think it just shows like a cutscene from either like a... like anime or game or something like that. Or it could be from the game. I guess we'll find out here in a second. Oh, did I set it on? I think I was still on normal mode. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. I'm only showing this last just to show like the final songs you can unlock. And yeah, if you didn't see up in the corner, I unlocked the platinum. I actually wasn't gonna do trophy hunting for this one because usually rhythm games require like some pretty ridiculous stuff to like 100% those. But when I actually looked at the list, I was like, oh, a lot of this stuff isn't actually that hard to accomplish. So I was like, I'll do it. I usually wasn't the biggest trophy hunter when I was younger, but now I do it just to like kind of 100% a game because I'll probably, nothing against the game itself, but I'll probably never play this game again unless someone like wanted to play it for a party game or something like that. That's how I've been feeling like a lot of games. I'll like try to 100% them because I'll probably never get a chance to play them again because I have too many other either projects or other games lined up that I want to play. So. That's probably why I like doing this, like, game recording. It's kind of like what's the word? It's like it's like recording what I've been doing for posterity. That's it. Posterity's case. So that way, I have like, oh, I remember I played that at one point. So, but then I can go on to something else. But sounds like this is this supposed to be the credits? Maybe. Like the song for the ropes. But anyway, trying to think. I guess overall, I think as you can see, I think the game's fine for a rhythm game. But yeah, the problem with it, as I said before, it's definitely very niche because this game is just for Persona fans. Like no casual player would buy this and go, "Oh, I'll buy this," you know. You'd have to know what Persona is to even like want to play this. Like otherwise, you'd be like, "Okay, this is a weird random rhythm game." I mean, some people might play it for like just to like go, "Huh, I wonder what this is about." But yeah, your regular player. That's probably why these games. Then again, the Persona franchise has like some pretty hardcore fans, and been getting new ones ever since Persona 5 came out. Like they got a whole slew of new fans. Not just the old ones, but the new people who maybe were fans of RPGs or heard about these games. Because Persona 5 is a very polished game, and it did a lot of things to fix kind of the issues of the previous games. Which I guess I shouldn't talk about that unless I actually record Persona 5. I don't know if I ever do. I thought about recording one of the Persona games, but that would be definitely an undertaking just because of how long they are and what's involved with it. Not that I couldn't play it, I could play it, but I almost thought about just doing the first one because like no one like talks about the original one anymore. And I probably played the PSP version because unfortunately I don't have my original PlayStation copy anymore. I thought I did, but I must have lost it or something like that, which is sad. Because that one runs like pretty expensive these days. And I kind of prided myself in kind of owning some obscure games, but there's people with bigger collections than mine, and I'm not much of a collector. I just kind of like collecting that like one or two games. I'm like, oh man, I own this, which you almost kind of need to these days. But maybe I'll talk about what I'm talking about in another video at some point. But I'm not really even hearing the song. I'm just trying to hit the beats at this point. Oh, we're done. Okay, cool. Yay, we finished with a brilliant. I don't even think anyone's gonna get that reference. And that's it for all the songs in the game. So, hope you enjoyed listening to some of the songs and me playing this and explaining some of the stuff and talking about the Persona franchise in general. Probably most people didn't care about that, but whatever. We're doing it live. But yeah, I had a fun time, despite everything. So like I said, I like the songs of it. I might try to check out for the 4th and 5th game at some point. The 4th and 5th dancing game at one point, just to see how those remixes and songs go and see how those characters interact. But yeah, it was an experience, and I'm glad I made it. Most modern games now can't be just like the game itself. It has to be like all these spin-offs, and for those who like those characters, they want to see more of what they be in different environments, and that's fine for fans of that type of stuff. So anyway, we'll leave it off here. So hope you enjoyed the game. If you liked what you saw, you could buy it for yourself, or if you didn't like what you saw, save you a couple bucks down the line for something else. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.